The Appalachian Wireless Game of the Week. Corbin versus South Laurel. Sponsored by Appalachian Wireless, Community Trust Bank, Subway.
Our national anthem in the books from here at South Laurel High School Gymnasium as we wait for the colors to leave the floor. A fantastic crowd on hand here tonight for this Titanic district matchup, which we'll break down for you here in just a moment in our Appalachian Wireless Game of the Week on this TV and WYMT.com. It's the Cardinals of South Laurel hosting the Red Hounds of Corbin. A blackout. The student sections from both schools, they're rowdy tonight and they're ready for some good high school basketball here in southeastern Kentucky. And we welcome you courtside along with the Mountain legend Jim Frazier. I'm Tanner Hesterberg. Our sideline reporter tonight is Lauren Cash. Boy, what a great atmosphere and a great time for high school basketball tonight.
This is as great as we've had maybe since Harlan County. It's been a couple of weeks, but no, superb crowd, great action. I tell you, both of these coaches fired up, and they know it's a big game, big district game. Both of these teams looking for a big win tonight.
Let's break down the kind of season that each of these two teams have had so far, starting with the Corbin Red Hounds. 12-6 overall, 1-2 in the 50th district standings, tied for third place, beat Knox Central by 3 Friday night in Barberville. A stud of a player in Andrew Taylor, who goes for more than 20 per game.
He is one of the fabulous freshmen, one of these young kids in the 13th region everybody wants to look at. He can finish at the rim. Terrific player. He'll have to play big tonight.
And as for the South Laurel Cardinals, the home team tonight, it's been an up and down year. They're 9-9, mired in a 3-game losing streak under head coach Jeff Davis. The Cardinals looking for a big win tonight here at home in what is a wide open 13th region.
I think one of the keys tonight, as I've been talking with the coaches, Braden Miller, point guard for South Laurel. If he's on his game, he distributes, plays a smart game. Things work really well for South Laurel.
Tip-off and starting lineups in reverse order coming up on the other side of this break from here in London in the Appalachian Wireless Game of the Week on this TV and WYMT.com. And we're back here getting set for tip-off between Corbin and South Laurel. These two teams 1-2 in the 50th district standings, and we go courtside now for the starting lineups.
Campus of South Laurel High School for a feature game of the evening. A 13th region matchup between the Corbin Red Hounds and your South Laurel Cardinals. And now for the starting lineups. First for our visitors, the Red Hounds of Corbin. Number 1, Kenny Hopper. Number 15, Zach McGuett. Number 21, Andrew Taylor. Number 33, Connor Hopkins. And number 24, Sam Taylor. Head coach of the Red Hounds, Tony Petrowski. And now, for your South Laurel Cardinals. Starting at guard, number 10, Ryan Anders. Starting at guard, number 13, Braden Miller. Starting at guard, number 25, Jared Grubb. Starting at center, number 44, Caleb Taylor. Starting at forward, number 54, Zach Allen. Assistant coaches for the Cardinals, Dennis Hammonds, Jerry Davis, Donnie Burdine, and the head coach, Jeff Davis.
All right, our starting lineup's in the books. All that's left to do is tip this one off. Partner, any final thoughts before we get underway?
You know, the final thought is I think I see Darth Vader in the crowd.
There he is.
Pretty exciting at the gym here. And, Tanner, this is spectacular regular season basketball here in London. You see the fans getting into it, ladies and gentlemen, with your play-by-play of tonight's contest, Mr. Tanner Esterberg.
Thank you, Jim. We're underway from here at South Laurel, and the homestanding Cardinals control the opening tip. 9-9 on the season, looking to snap a 3-game losing streak here tonight and also secure a win and avoid dropping to last place in the 50th district standings.
Like Corbin starting out in a little zone here, Tanner. And South pretty deliberate here. Wanted to try to push it down on the inside, get some touches for the big kid, Caleb Taylor.
Taylor, their leading scorer, second leading scorer at 17 a game. This is a steal by Andrew Taylor. Missed the layup. Fight for the rebound, and the Cardinals have it on a foul called.
First flash of the great freshman there, Andrew Taylor, off the backside, comes up with the steal. Can't finish at the rim. Cardinals will bring it the length of the court.
South Laurel coming off a 9-point loss at Whitley County on Friday night. There's a long three by Grubb. That's off the mark, and a good rebound by Andrew Taylor. Corbin's really going to have to do a yeoman's job on the glass tonight. They're really outsized. Redhounds don't have a player above 6'3", but they do have that guy, Andrew Taylor. A good start for the freshman.
Just a freshman hits the bucket. You saw him make the big defensive play earlier, and that's what Corbin needed to have here on the road. A good start, Tanner.
Going back to the point about rebounding, though, South Laurel has a huge size advantage, and Coach Jeff Davis knows that, and they're going to look to try to work it down to their big guys early, most notably Caleb Taylor, the 6'8" junior who averages 17 and 12. Three out of the corner is good by Miller.
Miller can make the team about 5-10 points better, Tanner, if he plays a big game.
Nice feed down low. Hopper lays it up and in, and Corbin snatches the lead back. It's easy to tell Hopper he's got those white spandex leggings he wears. Gives him an extra couple of inches, right?
Yeah, beautiful look, good feed, and now Corbin switches the defense up a little bit here.
They go down low, Taylor. Double teamed, he'll throw it back out to Miller. Now they circle the wagons. This is Grubb, and he traveled. So 2 turnovers here early for South Laurel. That's really what Corbin wants to do, Jim. They don't really have the bodies down low, as you see head coach Troy Petrowski, to bang with South Laurel, so they got to force them into turnovers.
They do, and I don't know about the pace of the game. It looked like Corbin wants to play a faster pace than maybe I'd anticipated with that size disadvantage.
That jumper short off the hands of Maggette. Might have been partially blocked by Grubb. Good defense.
Tough job on the inside there, Tanner.
And the ball goes over Taylor's head as Anders, a little too much mustard on that one, and it's the 3rd Cardinal turnover of the game. You see the Corbin student section that has traveled well up I-75 here to London. Corbin 12-6 on the year, much like South Laurel, 1-2 in the 50th district as the jumper rims out for Maggette. And the Cardinals come back on the attack.
Good transition defense, Tanner, but this high-low entry feed here is going to be tough all day.
Taylor gets it down low and scores, and the crowd loves it.
They can post Zach Allen. He comes up on the high post and feeds it low to Caleb. Caleb turns for 2. That's going to be difficult all night for Corbin. Beautiful.
Good look inside for Hopkins, and a foul called. Connor Hopkins, the 6'3" junior, will go to the line for 2 as you get a look at head coach Jeff Davis for South Laurel in his 4th year. course, he succeeded Steve Wright back in 2011. That's nothing easy to do, take over for a guy like Steve Wright that won a state title. Let's go back to the replay of that last shot.
Just going to see a beautiful feed here by the freshman Andrew Taylor. What a realization. Sees the big guy coming to him. Gets it to his pal for a two-shot opportunity.
And he hit them both. And that gets us to immediate timeout. Corbin by a deuce here early in our Appalachian Wireless Game of the Week on this TV and WYMT.com. South Laurel High School Cardinals down a deuce early to Corbin, facing some backcourt pressure here in this 50th district matchup.
Kind of thought Corbin with a smaller team would want to be deliberate, but they want this thing up and down, Tanner.
They try to get it down low to Taylor. They do, and he scores. And we check in with the third member of our broadcast team, Lauren Cash. Lauren. I will check back in with Lauren here in just a minute, and checking in at the next break for Corbin will be A.J. Moore. As the three good out of the corner by Andrew Taylor, his second of the game. He's a 38% shooter from deep, and he's 2 for 2 here tonight.
Just playing a tremendous game, but this high-low feed here, this action for South Laurel, difficult for Corbin to defend.
Little inside-out game. Grubb swings it out to Miller off the mark on the three, and then traveling called on Hopper as he tried to grab the rebound. And we check in now with Lauren.
Listening in at both teams' huddles out of that timeout, looking at Coach Petrowski's timeout, he said, we've got to attack the rim offensively. He's proud of what they're doing on defense, not letting South get into the middle with ease with Caleb Taylor. But then that's, in fact, the exact opposite in South Laurel's huddle. Coach Davis is like, you got to work it down inside to Taylor, guys.
All right, thanks, Lauren. And while Lauren was delivering her report, we had a foul against Corbin's A.J. Moore on the inbound pass. So South Laurel will try to inbound it again here, down 3. And again, good defense out of bounds as Corbin really denying the pass at this point. They're overplaying. You take a little bit of a risk, but when you're an undersized team, you have to do that, Jim.
You have to do it. Big battle here on the Taylor boys. Sam Taylor going against Caleb Taylor, giving away some 7-8 inches.
Grubb called for the offensive foul, and an outstanding job absorbing the contact by Corbin's Sam Taylor.
Sam, I tell you, is playing a heck of a game. Caleb scored a couple of times over him, Tanner, just because he tried to play it on the front, and once Caleb got the ball, he turned and put it home. But Sam Taylor has a tough job this evening, giving away about, I'm guessing, 60 pounds and 6 inches.
Well, you're right on the money there, Jim. He's 6'3", Connor Hopkins 6'3". They're the biggest players on this Corbin team. You look at South Laurel's roster, 6'7", 6'8" guys.
Man,
tough. And a foul called inside here. Corbin been very good, like you saw in that last play, though, of attacking the basket, trying to get these South Laurel bigs in foul trouble.
Exactly so. They are not playing at the deliberate pace that I thought maybe they might go with, and this number 21 can play.
He can pass, too.
Yeah.
Unable to convert down low, but here's a second chance opportunity for McGuett. And then it's tipped up and in by Sam Taylor, his first bucket.
Coach Davis not going to like that, Tanner. You've talked about the size advantage South Laurel has, and that time Corbin just beating them to the glass.
So Sam Taylor with 2, Andrew Taylor with 6, and Corbin with a 5-point lead, make it a 3-point lead as Caleb Taylor for South Laurel gets loose inside for his 4th point. And the students loving it here on blackout night at South Laurel.
You see Corbin, I love the ball movement. I love the player movement away from the ball. And I love it when 21 touches the ball. He is tough. You can just tell, Tanner. Just a freshman. Outstanding. Good defense here by South Laurel.
McGuett going to do it himself. Loses the handle on it, out of bounds. It will stay with the Red Hounds. Trevor Browning comes into the game for the first time. You see McGuett heading to the bench there.
Really can't do much of a zone on the inbounds here because all Corbin would have to do is throw it to Andrew Taylor and he would kill the zone. So Grubb has to go with him. Great athletic matchup here. Grubb just a sophomore.
Taylor, the freshman. You're talking earlier, a lot of young talent in the 13th region, and there's two of them right there squaring off.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Boys and girls.
Hopper scored the game's first bucket and loses the handle here, but again, it will stay with Corbin. Minute 44 remaining in our opening quarter. Red Hounds a 3-point lead. Already beat South Laurel once this year by 5 back in December, trying to make it a sweep of the Cardinals here tonight.
Just tough in this 50th district, Tanner, to get wins on the road. Corbin doing a good job here. Officials letting them play.
Taylor rising fire from the baseline, and he puts it in.
Beautiful. That time they just kept the ball movement, cleared the side for Andrew, and Andrew puts it home. Just a freshman. He looks like he's all of 11 years old, and I'm telling you, he can play basketball.
Yeah, Taylor had 25 in the win over South Laurel earlier this year, 8 already tonight against the Cardinals.
See Corbin, now they're going back to this zone, trying to give Sam Taylor a little bit of a help on the inside.
As we're under a minute to go in our first quarter. Been a good one so far, shaping up to be a dandy the whole way. Inside, this is Vince Holcomb, and he misses.
Excellent rebounding job by Corbin.
All the way, coast to coast, missing but drawing a foul, Trevor Browning. Let's go to our Deskins Motors instant replay of that drive by Browning.
Takes it right to the hoop, got the rebound, and no one stopped the basketball. Tanner, we saw that in our last game. Bell County, Harlan County, particularly in the girls' action. Macy Morris get the rebound. Nobody was stopping her. So in this particular instance, Browning just takes it right to the hoop.
You see that arm sleeve he has on, the black arm sleeve? Well, he has to wear that because one of the assistant coaches told me before the game he's dislocated his shoulder 3 or 4 times this year.
Wow.
You see it there on his left shoulder, and sometimes it will dislocate. He'll come over to the bench. They'll pop it back into place, and he'll go right back into the game. So he's a tough kid, and he gets them both to go down there.
So he's on the all-Madden team, is what you're telling me.
The all-Frazier team.
Wow. What a great start here by Corbin. South Laurel needs a bucket. They've gotten Caleb Taylor involved, but no one else really establishing themselves.
We knew that would be their game plan going in. Taylor not even in the game right now, and the Red Hounds trying to force another turnover, and they do. Running out of time, though. 3 to beat the horn is no good for Hopkins. And that's how our first quarter comes to an end. A good first quarter for the Corbin Red Hounds. They lead South Laurel by 7, 16-9. Second quarter coming your way from here at South Laurel next on This TV and WYMT.com. Well, the sensational freshman for Corbin, Andrew Taylor, with 8 points in that first quarter. Jim, here's what he's done all season long. He's a good one.
Tremendous ball player. We've already seen examples of that here in this first quarter. He'll get his hands on it. Got to believe they'll try to clear the side a little bit, have him operate.
There he is going back door, has his shot blocked by the other Taylor, Caleb Taylor with the swat, and here come the Cardinals.
Size can erase those mistakes.
3, Anders, yes, just what the doctor ordered for the home team.
Certainly so, and now I thought they might try a little full court pressure, but let's send it to Lauren Cash for her report. Lauren?
Coach Davis at the end of the quarter timeout, he said he wasn't impressed with what his Cardinals were doing offensively at all in that quarter. He said they were being passive on offense. They're dribbling around instead of passing and cutting in the zone. He wants them to work it inside the paint where their size advantage is, guys.
Well, that's just what they do here. And Taylor goes to work. Boy, Lauren, prophetic there, huh? Yeah. 8 points for Caleb Taylor, so each Taylor in this game with 8 now.
Just so difficult. Corbin just has no body to match up there. And
tough drive inside for Browning, has it blocked, but here's a 3 out of the corner. Andrew Taylor, his third tray of the game. And look at him showing off in front of the South Laurel students.
What a player. The kid is going to be a superstar. Near steal here, Tanner.
He poked it away, but Cardinals able to recover in backcourt.
Tell you, South Laurel here with Caleb Taylor on the inside. Corbin just doesn't have a body to match up. You see how tough it's been for South Laurel with him out the last few games, Tanner.
Anders hit a three a moment ago, bluffs that one and gives it up to his backcourt mate Miller, who puts in a three, his second of the game, and just like that, a 2-point lead for Corbin. That was 7.
Looked like South had just kind of pushed it down to the inside to work inside out.
Taylor creates some space but can't bank it in. Jeff Davis wanted an offensive foul call, didn't get it, but South Laurel does get possession. Chance to tie or take the lead after trailing for this entire game. Anders, mid-range jumper, and we're tied at 19. And a timeout by Corbin.
Anders, another one of these fine young ball players, just a freshman, Tanner, makes the big play and ties this thing up at 19. Corbin led it 16-9 at the end of the break, and Lauren talked about Jeff Davis. He wasn't impressed, and they had to get after it.
Oh, we mentioned how big this game is in terms of the standings in the 50th district. Take a look here. Williamsburg still a pile of regular season district games left to play. The Yellow Jackets, the only undefeated team in the state of Kentucky right now, sitting atop the poll right now. The loser of this game tonight between Corbin and South Laurel will be in 4th. And, you know, I was talking to both these coaches before the game, and they both made the point that, you know, there are going to be 2 teams sitting at home watching the regional tournament that get beat out in district that, quite frankly, are good enough to get to Rupp Arena.
No question about it, Tanner. And just that you see there how critical this game is. The loser will fall to 1-3, and those guys aren't going to fall any. The fans in it 100% here in London.
South Laurel on a 10-3 run to open up this second quarter. Nice crossover move there. Browning to the basket, has it swatted by Taylor. It'll stay Corbin basketball.
Not sure why Andrew Taylor is out right now, Tanner. They must have just gotten a little rest for him.
He knows he has the media timeout coming up too. Does Coach Petrowski maybe try to get his star player a little breather?
Well, that's exactly so.
Here's Hopper, and he throws it away. 19 all as we hit the home stretch of the opening half here in the Appalachian Wireless Game of the Week at South Laurel on this TV and WYMT.com. It's been a night of the Taylors here tonight. Corbin versus South Laurel, and the Cardinals. Caleb Taylor having a big game tonight. 8 points so far, and he's been finding success all season, Jim. Take a look at his stats.
Certainly has, Tanner, and without Caleb these last couple of games, it has been a difficult assignment for South Laurel, as only 1-4 their last 5 games, and that only win in that stretch was a tough one over North Laurel.
There he is down low. Too easy for him when he gets that kind of position. He was working against Andrew Taylor at 6'2", giving up 6 inches, and Caleb Taylor now in double figures, and South Laurel takes a 2-point lead. Andrew Taylor would have been his 4th 3 of the game. Fight for the rebound, out of bounds. It goes over to South Laurel. All of a sudden, the pendulum of momentum has shifted toward Coach Jeff Davis's Cardinals.
Sure has, Tanner. Corbin started off shooting red hot. That last trip, Kenny Hopper does the good job to get the ball in the hands of Andrew Taylor with the jump shot, but it just didn't drop. And Corbin really going to be difficult for them to get offensive glass in this one, Tanner, so they would have to shoot a high percentage. You see him trying to go zone here, but nobody can match up with the big guys on the inside. Caleb particularly knows he doesn't have to alter his shot at all. He can just turn on Sam Taylor and try and score.
I remember there was some question about whether Caleb Taylor would even play tonight as Corbin comes away with the steal. This is Hopper, and he's fouled, bringing it up the floor. Caleb Taylor injured his head in the loss to Knox Central Friday night. Coach Davis saying in the run-up to this game that he was 50-50 on playing, but those of us who saw that said, you know what, it's a district game, it's on television. He's playing tonight, and certainly he's having a good one. And he gets a steal here.
time Andrew Taylor had the shot, unselfish, the freshman tries to give it up.
Miller thought about a three. Does have two tonight.
South is going to have to be content.
Miller, the three.
3 3-pointers for Miller, 2 of those in this second quarter, and he has ignited his team here.
And ignited the Cardinal crazies, the student section. They're loving it. Hopper, that's a tough shot, and he gets it to go. Big-time response. Kenny Hopper scored the opening basket of the game and now has 4 points.
One of the few seniors, I guess, that we'll see on the floor this evening.
Caleb Taylor down low. Foul called before the shot. And this is going against Kenny Hopper. Of course, these two teams have already met once this year, back on December 16th in Corbin. Redhounds beat South Laurel 65-60. As we take a look at the Deskins Motors instant replay.
Good look down on the inside as Zach Allen feeds Caleb Taylor, and underneath the foul there. Got to give the guy room to come down.
And I beg your pardon, they put the foul on Hopkins.
What
a rebound here. Andrew Taylor, he has a 2-on-1. He'll take it himself with the right hand and score.
Can he finish at the rack, Tanner?
He has 13. He can finish at the rack and also from behind the arc. Grubb down low. Offensive foul. Second time he's been whistled for a charge this game, and that one negated a basket.
And it was just what the Redhound doctor ordered. Tony Petrosky as his guys trailed 24-19. They come up with 4 quick ones here, and now with a chance perhaps to take the lead in the waning moments here of the first half.
Awkward shot by Taylor. It spun out on him.
Corbin's just not going to get much offensive glass. They have to shoot a high percentage.
Grubb trying to shoot that one in, no good, and then a foul on the rebound against Corbin's Sam Taylor. It's been a pretty clean first half. 5 fouls each on Corbin and South Laurel after that one, as Anders checks back into the Cardinal lineup to replace Grubb.
Certainly an example there. South Laurel able to get offensive glass much easier than Corbin. If those guys can just put it up on the glass, Taylor can go get it.
Anders off the mark on the three. And the Redhounds control the rebound. This is McGuett for 3. Couldn't bank it in. Kind of an awkward running attempt at that three-pointer.
Coach Petrosky gives his guys the green light, Tanner, and with a 1-point spread there, McGuett trying to give his team the lead. You see this Corbin zone here. They're sloughing back further and further on the inside, inviting South Laurel to take the outside shot.
Miller's hit 3 of them. Now he'll work it down low. Taylor got it.
Good look by Miller that time. Junior finds his big guy on the inside for an easy 2.
Corbin has no answer for that.
No, they certainly don't. And freshman Ryan Anders now will go with freshman Andrew Taylor, and that is a terrific matchup. Corbin trying to clear the side for him, I thought, that particular trip.
Backdoor feed, wraparound layup, no good by McGuett. Cardinals trailed by as many as 7 in this opening half, now lead by 3 with the ball. Coach Jeff Davis signaling to slow it down. They may try to play for the final shot of the first half here.
Looked like they were signaling for play number 3, Tanner. I've got to believe that they're going to be content here, trying to get a guy to go high-low on the post feed. You may be right. They may, Corbin probably content to let the clock run out here. Coach Petrosky looking. They tried to slough this zone back, inviting the outside shot. South trailed it by 7 coming into this frame, so a 10-point swing here, potentially 12 or 13 if South could convert.
Corbin 12-6 on the year, South 9-9, trying to get above 500 and snap a 3-game losing streak. Loser of this game falls to 4th place in the 50th district standings. And we're under 10 to go in the opening half. Oh, they got him trapped at midcourt, and they're able to tie up Anders. Held ball will keep it with South Laurel. as Corbin will put Trevor Browning back into the game to play defense here on this final possession, what would appear to be the final possession of the first half, as Jeff Davis goes to his bench as well.
Oh, man, both of these coaches working hard. Team's doing an outstanding job here early. Corbin has a foul to give.
Anders in trouble again. Dumps it down low to beat the buzzer. This is Allen, and a foul called.
He'll shoot foul shots.
They call it against Kenny Hopper. That's his second foul.
I think Coach Petrosky wanted them to foul early, Tanner, because they had one to give. So on the good look, Allen gets it, and he'll go to the line shooting 2.
Shooting right in front of the Corbin fans. Allen, a 68% foul shooter. That's his first point of the night. And 1 out of 2, and South Laurel will take a 4-point lead into the locker room. 27-23 after trailing by as many as 7 in that opening half. And our sideline reporter Lauren Cash is standing by with South Laurel coach Jeff Davis. Take it away, Lauren.
All right, Coach, out of the first quarter timeout, you were pretty unimpressed with your team's overall effort. What did you tell them in that huddle for such a turnaround in the second?
We were just playing so passive, just not playing hard. And I just told them to cut loose and just play. We let them be more physical than us in the first quarter. Looking
at the second quarter, how much more of a difference was Caleb Taylor for you all?
It's good. He's been out for a while and took a little while to get his feet, but I was proud of him in the second. Now we've got to make sure he's got his leg and lungs for the second half.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. Guys.
All right, thank you, Lauren. And again, the halftime score, South Laurel 27, Corbin 23. We'll take a break and come back with more here at halftime in our Appalachian Wireless Game of the Week on this TV and WYMT.com. And welcome back courtside here at South Laurel High School Gymnasium with Jim Frazier. I'm Tanner Hesterberg. It's an honor to have you along for the ride tonight here in our Appalachian Wireless Game of the Week. We expected a good one, and so far these players have delivered. 27-23, the halftime score. South Laurel, Jim, trailed at the end of the first quarter 16-9, but the Cardinals outscored Corbin 18-7 in that second quarter to now take a lead into the locker room. What was key to that run?
I think key to that run was just getting the ball down on the inside to big Caleb Taylor. He's had a spectacular first half, and also a little bit of tougher defense on Andrew Taylor for Corbin. What a fantastic first half that young man had. You know, we said this game was tailor-made for a big ball game, and we've seen the Taylors play spectacularly on both ends.
Corbin, it seemed, had the right recipe for success in that first quarter. They got out to that early lead. They got some big baskets from their big gun, Andrew Taylor. But at the same time, Caleb Taylor really went to work for South Laurel in that second quarter. And it seems as though Corbin really doesn't have an answer for him. Caleb Taylor at 6'8", and Corbin nobody bigger than 6'3" on the roster, as you see a shot of the Cardinal crazies there. So if you're this Corbin coaching staff, what sort of adjustments do you make here to try to offset the advantage South Laurel has inside in the second half?
Somehow Corbin is going to have to get some offensive glass. They shot a brilliant percentage in that first quarter, cooled off in the second quarter, and here came South Laurel with one shot and out. So I think critical for Coach Tony Petrosky. I thought that they'd have to play a little bit slower of a pace, and I think in the second quarter you sort of saw some of that. If you play a fast pace and you miss those shots with no offensive glass, you can have some big runs against you, and that's awfully tough on the road to overcome. So I think they'll have to be a little more deliberate. And if for South Laurel, they hit some big shots on the outside. How about Braden Miller with 3 big three-pointers in that first half, and that loosens up that zone a lot.
Yeah, you mentioned the big first half. Caleb Taylor for South Laurel with 12. Andrew Taylor for Corbin with 13. And this is a big one in terms of the district standings. We already mentioned that the loser falls down to 4th place. Both teams are 1 and 2. Still a ton of action left to go in the 50th district, but this is one of those districts that they seed. They don't draw like a lot of districts still do. So, you know, that has to be in the back of the minds of these players and coaches the rest of the way here in this one. So the question is, how can you play with that in mind and also keep your composure enough to get a win?
That's exactly right, Tanner. You know, sort of the catch-22 of the situation. There's so much talking with Tony Petrosky before the game, there's just so much balance. Even if you win and you win as #1 seed, you're still going to have a tough team as the team who's #4. So it's sort of a tough deal here in this 50th district as you see a packed house. How about that student section for South Laurel?
And they were loud in the first half. They're looking to be even louder in the second as their Cardinals lead by 4 over those guys, the Corbin Redhounds. 27-23, the second half, coming up after this on this TV and WYMT.com. We're about a minute away from starting the second half here at South Laurel as Corbin visiting down by 4 on the road. How about the characters that have come out tonight in the South Laurel student section? You have Batman, you have, who else have we seen in there? I guess that's supposed to be maybe Princess Leia.
Why not? I mean,
she was a lot better looking when I saw it in the movies than there, but there's Batman again. You got the Vuvuzelas out and the signs, just a great atmosphere.
Terrific
here tonight.
Atmosphere.
And Corbin well represented as well. There's the Redhound student section.
You know, this is fabulous regular season basketball here in the fabulous 50th.
And you know, Jim, there are some people who will say that the high school basketball regular season doesn't matter. But to them, I say that's complete baloney because you need to be here in this atmosphere tonight.
Absolutely. And it's just so great for the kids, isn't it? All the ones that are involved, a number of young kids, grade school type kids in the stands here behind us, just been terrific. And the cheerleaders as well, just been spectacular basketball. And, you know, official Keith Morgan came by to talk to me just before the tip, and he wants to wish Paul Petrosky, longtime official here in the 13th region, and also the assigning secretary here in the 13th region for a number of years. Tony Petrosky's father, he's 75 years young today.
We see him there on the bench, 2 chairs down from.
I tell you, Tony talked about before the game. We did a great game. Corbin and Harlan many years ago, back 1994, and Tony talked about what a great time that was. Billy Hicks, the coach of Corbin, and the great Mike Jones coaching Harlan. What a battle it was, and we are set for a tremendous second half battle here as South Laurel gets their student section up. Corbin gets their hands on it first.
And Jeff Davis, the head coach at South Laurel there. Runner inside, no good for Corbin's Connor Hopkins, but an offensive rebound. Hopper the baseline drive, and he's fouled by Taylor. Good strong take right at South Laurel's big man.
It was some offensive glass. A long rebound kicks out. Hopper gets it, and I think Coach Petrosky telling his guys to take it at Caleb and perhaps try to get him in foul trouble. That's number 2. So you might see Corbin's guys try to maybe clear the side for some of those guards and try to beat their guys off the dribble.
Of course, Troy Petrosky in his 14th year at Corbin won 74% of his games as coach, 9 20-win seasons, 3 region titles. Just got career win number 300 a couple of weeks ago. Certainly had a great career. The former Redhound player.
Redhound player, signed with LSU and then came back to finish his career at the University of the Cumberlands.
Of course, it was Cumberland College then.
Yeah. Look at this back door.
Anders lays it in off the feed from Grubb.
They had Caleb Taylor seal his man off, and then the lob went for 2.
South Laurel's lead up to 5. Hopper misses everything.
So difficult for Corbin to get any offensive rebounds, Tanner. They're going to have to slough back in this zone and hope that South misses. Excellent play call designed by Jeff Davis to start this second half.
Inside out game. Miller bluffs a 3, now gets it down low to Grubb. He's double teamed. Back out to Miller. Good ball movement here for the Cardinals. You can tell they're trying to pound it down low to Taylor, but when he's not there, they've had some success with other guards cutting to the basket. And they've had some success with that guy. Miller, an off-balance 2-pointer.
Tell you, off the wrong foot. He puts in an Earl Monroe type shot. Earl the Pearl from way outside, but There's the man that has to shoot it for Corbin.
Elbow jumper short for Taylor. That last basket by Miller, his first field goal, that wasn't a three. He had 3 3-pointers in the first half, now 11 points on the game for the junior. 7-point lead now for South Laurel.
Zone for Corbin.
Grubb, 3, yes! And a timeout by Corbin as South Laurel has opened up a 10-point lead over the Red Hounds here at home. Coach Petrowski looking to make some adjustments here in this timeout as it's a full timeout here at South Laurel High School.
Basically a 10-1 run here by South Laurel as we look back deep into the first half and then into the first part of this second half. The score was 24-23, a 1-point spread, and some big shots here being hit by South Laurel. If they can hit outside jumpers like that, Tanner, with the inside game that they've got, Coach Petrowski really doesn't have an answer for either one of those.
7-1 run for South Laurel to start this third period. Again, the Cardinals trailed by 7, 16-9 at the end of the first. Outscored Corbin 18-7 in the second frame. Outscoring them so far 7-1 here in the third.
Andrew Taylor for Corbin started off so hot. It's almost impossible to keep the task going at that level. Just a freshman, he scores 13 in the first half, but we'll see what Coach Petrowski draws up here. Grubb has done a terrific job on Taylor.
See how Corbin responds out of the timeout. McGuett, he's been quiet tonight, and he has his shot blocked by Taylor.
Took it at the big guy, but he jumped backwards, Tanner, when he went up with the shot. That makes it too easy for Caleb. Had to try to get his body into the big guy and then release the basketball. Perhaps could have picked up a foul.
Rise and fire. 3 out of the corner is good by Jared Grubb.
Just a sophomore, and excellent elevation on his jumper there.
His second tray of the quarter, and it's a 13-point lead for the Cardinals. Corbin needs to stop the bleeding, but they turn it over. 2-on-1. Grubb dishes it over to Allen. And a whistle. And a foul.
Big Zach gets the delivery there from Grubb. Watch Grubb here. He's already hit a couple of big three-pointers. Gets it to his big guy, Zach Allen. And there you see putting your body into the defender, Tanner. That big body as Zach Allen draws the foul.
Connor Hopkins called for his second personal foul. The Cardinal loving it. Remember, Allen hit 1 out of 2 free throws with no time remaining to close out the first half.
Latter part of the first half, first part here of this second half is totally belonged to South Laurel.
Allen, a senior. And again, it's 1 out of 2. Andrew Taylor the rebound. 2 defenders back for South Laurel. Doesn't matter as Taylor takes it in and draws a foul.
It's a good realization by Andrew there. His team needs him to step up. It was kind of a 1-on-2 opportunity, but he had to take it to the hoop. He gets the call there. Love the way this guy takes it to the rack, Tanner. Love the way he takes it to the hoop.
Corbin fans trying to cheer on a rally for their Red Hounds here in hostile territory tonight as the first free throw no good. Substitution for South Laurel. Holcomb into the game to spell Allen.
You know, Tanner, this is the flu season, and I'm just wondering if Andrew, his shots are a little short here. We saw him get a rest in that first half. You wonder if maybe Andrew's kind of battling a little bit of sickness here.
Get a media timeout at the next dead ball. Anders double teamed in the corner, has to throw it off of a Red Hound, and it will stay South Laurel basketball, and we will take that timeout. Cardinals up by 13 here at home over Corbin in this big district rivalry on this TV and WYMT.com. .452 remaining in our third period. South Laurel the ball in a 13-point lead, and they go to the bread and butter. Caleb Taylor down low, throws it back out. Grubb a 3, and it's in there. 3 threes in this corner for the sophomore, Jared Grubb.
You know, during the entire length of the television timeout, we were entertained by the student section of South Laurel. Kids are going crazy, having a blast here at the gym on a Tuesday night.
Well, they're being entertained by the Cardinals themselves, particularly Jared Grubb. Did not score in the first half, 9 here in the third quarter.
And look at that defensive job as he sticks with Taylor.
Tough shot down low is short from Hopkins, and South the rebound.
And Grubb hustles back to get the rebound. What a third quarter by that young man.
Cards up 16, looking to break the game open here. Taylor draws a foul down low. And we check in with sideline reporter Lauren Cash. Lauren.
Guys, Coach P said at the Red Hound bench, they said stay in the moment, take care of each possession. This is a big crowd. The intensity is high, but stay focused. Don't make mental mistakes. As far as South Laurel, he said take care of the ball. And offensively, remember what got us this lead, working it down inside, guys.
All right, thanks, Lauren. Foul in the backcourt, 31 fouling 31. Or excuse me, they put it on Holcomb, 30 for South Laurel. His first, team third.
17-2 run here by South Laurel in this latter part of the first half and this third quarter.
Just looks like a completely different Cardinal team, and there's a big key to the run. Grubb, steal, can't score, but tipped up and in by Anders.
What hustle.
9 for Anders, and it's an 18-point lead for the Cardinals. Jumper at the other end, too strong from Hopkins. Offensive rebound, Browning, he can't score, and Taylor clears the boards.
One time Browning had Caleb Taylor out of position, but he rushed it, Tanner. It's what size will do to you. Misses the shot, and South Laurel on the other end.
In the blink of an eye, they're up 18, and now they're up 21 as Anders has his second three.
Jeff Davis has his guys playing some pretty good basketball, and the fans love it here in London.
Everything going right for the Cardinals here in the second half. They get another steal. Miller credited with that one as Hopper threw it away. Grubb, heat check, in and out. And a rebound down to Andrew Taylor for Corbin, who's been quiet in this third quarter. Looking to get going, and he draws a foul. South Laurel fans thought it was clean, and it looked clean up top, but I think Miller got him with the body.
Let's take a look at our Deskins Motors instant replay here. Tanner,
It wasn't Miller, it was Anders that got him with the body. Good
Anders
call.
Gets him with the body, doesn't get the gets the basketball cleanly, but body foul, and now Andrew Taylor will try to get to the line and get some conversions.
Andrew Taylor started last year as an 8th grader.
Man,
so he's a freshman here tonight. Yeah, I mean, you think, how can a freshman perform this well in this environment? But he got that experience last year starting as an 8th grader. Season high of 31 points. He's scored in double digits in every single game this season, and he's at the line now looking for point number 15.
See the Corbin Red Hound faithful there, a little disconsolate. Their team is dropped behind here, but how about this young talent on the floor? You see Grubb there bringing it up. There's an over and back call. Keith Morgan will hit him, and I think that was the good call. You have to establish yourself. Fans don't like it, neither does the student section, but I tell you, kids getting into it here.
Corbin down by 20. If you're the Red Hounds, are you thinking maybe try to get it under 15 heading to the fourth?
You've got to just try to move the ball now. You just haven't had the opportunity, Tanner, to get any offensive glass. So you're forced to hit such a high percentage. They were able to do that for most of the first half. They've gone cold here, and I think probably trying to take the ball, try to drive through this zone, and maybe get some opportunities in that regard.
Taylor calling for it. That's a deep three, and he left it short. Offensive rebound, Browning. His putback attempt is no good, and a rebound down to Zach Allen for South Laurel. Outlet up ahead, Grubb weaving through traffic. No look pass. Taylor has it knocked away. Jared Grubb absolutely threaded the needle with that pass. Taylor couldn't finish, but the Cardinals keep possession as we get another look at it on the Deskins Motors instant replay.
Beautiful feed by Grubb. Yep. How about the no-look feed, and Caleb can't finish.
And a turnover. McGuett to the basket. Yes. Zach McGuett, his first basket tonight. Referees are going to stop play here.
I believe there was a foul. Not sure what happened there.
Try to check it here in just a minute. The basket credited to McGuett. He has 2 U-Pike top play nominees this week from Friday's win at Knox Central. Fall-away jumper and a steal and coast-to-coast and one.
Made some big plays.
Of course, vote for those on the sports page at WYMT.com. Been quiet until that last basket, though. His first one of the game. McGuett, the sophomore, one of several youngsters on this Corbin team, and it goes back to our point we were making in the first half about all the young talent in the 13th region.
It's just spectacular to watch.
Taylor nearly had a steal, but it goes out of bounds. It will stay with South Laurel. You think of some other teams around the region with young talent. Clay County with Blake Smith, Trey Farmer, Wes Wolf. We've seen them several times this year. North Laurel is pretty good.
Tremendous young talent.
Williamsburg, the only undefeated team in the state of Kentucky. They're playing Whitley County tonight. Grubb would have been his 4th 3. Rims out, offensive rebound Taylor.
That offensive glass has made a difference. Corbin unable to get any, and South able to move the ball around at will. Corbin still has to pretty much play zone. You say, why don't they go man-to-man? They just simply can't match up on the inside. They have to go zone.
Cardinals lead at 18. They're content to run some clock if they have to. Allen bulldozing his way inside, banks it in.
Young man has such superior upper body strength. He's going to have to learn to use that strength, go into contact, and take the shot.
His first field goal. Back to a 20-point lead for South.
South can be aggressive on this zone because they've got such good rebounders.
Hopper cuts the lead to 17 with his first 3-pointer. He has 8 points tonight.
Remember, Corbin beat this team 5 at their place.
And then Hopper commits the foul. You're right, Jim, just a completely different game here tonight.
Well, we saw that in our last Appalachian Wireless game of the week when we had Bell County, Harlan County. Harlan County had won big over Bell at home, and when Bell County was at home, they played superbly for the win.
Allen feeds Taylor, and he lays it in. His first points of the second half give him 14 and give South a 19-point lead. Taylor off the mark on the 3.
You know, Tanner, not sure if South would have won this game without Caleb Taylor. They've got a terrific club, but Caleb Taylor has been the difference maker in this game.
Time winding down, 3rd period. Miller, no good on the 3. Grubb, the offensive rebound. Count it if it goes, and it does! A sensational 3rd quarter for the South Laurel Cardinals, and they lead this one big at home here over Corbin, 52-31. The Cardinal Crazies loving it here in the Appalachian Wireless Game of the Week. 4th quarter's next. Our Deskins Motors instant replay. The final shot of the 3rd quarter, good for Jared Grubb, the sophomore. 11 points in that 3rd quarter. You just saw 2 of them in his team. South Laurel up 52-31. Outscored Corbin 25-8 in that 3rd quarter, and Grubb picks right up where he left off, cans that jumper. Boy, he's got a sweet-looking J.
He certainly does. Spectacular player, only a sophomore, and good things ahead for Mr. Grubb.
Corbin trying not to press the panic button too early as Hopkins draws the foul on the drive, and we check in with Lauren Cash on the sidelines.
Coach Petrosky kept it short and sweet and to the point. He said, attack the rim defensively, take your time on offense. Specifically on defense, he said, force turnovers, grind it out. It's not over. You need to get some buckets out in transition, guys.
Well, a good defensive play there by Andrew Taylor. He poked it away from Ryan Anders and then somehow was able to knock it out of bounds off of Anders. So he creates an extra possession here for his Red Hounds. who trail by 23.
Looks like they're going to move Taylor up to the top of the key, try to get his hands on the ball more, get some shot opportunities.
Boy, Taylor was so fantastic in that first half. He had 13 points, but just 2 so far here in the second, and he can't bank that one in. Rebound in traffic by Sam Taylor, and he's fouled on the way back up.
It's going to be number 3 on Caleb Taylor, and that's what Coach Petrosky wanting to do, take it at the big guy and get some fouls.
Sam Taylor, a 60% foul shooter. 2 points tonight, came in the first quarter, averages 7 points, 3 rebounds per game.
He's had a tough defensive assignment, occupying the middle of that zone, matching up against Caleb Taylor.
Comes up empty at the line. South looking to push.
It's over-aggressive zone here, going to create some opportunities in the lane.
Anders trying to get it down low to Taylor. Taylor forced to save it. Grubb grabs it for the Cardinals. Ball really bouncing their way in this game, particularly the second half. That's the old saying, the team that plays better usually gets the breaks.
That's about it.
Taylor fouled inside. Probably not a bad idea to foul him before he goes up for the shot.
Yeah, it's only the 4th team foul. I guess Coach Petrosky is going to have to, instead of hack a shack, I guess we can hack Caleb, but
McGuett called for his 3rd foul. He'll go to the bench, and Kenny Hopper comes back into the Red Hound lineup. 6:24 to go in this one. South Laurel the ball and a 23-point lead. Grubb, he'll go to the line for 2.
Grubb has that quick first step in addition to so many other skills there, Tanner, and able to take it to the hoop on the left side. Sometimes guys not quite as fast on the left side as they are the right side. They are the right-handed player, but that young man quick to either one.
And he's the team's best free throw shooter at 79%. Jimmy had a big game in the loss to Corbin back in December, scored 17. Looking for point number 15 right here. All of them have come in the second half, and he has it.
He certainly makes the team that much more difficult to contend with when he's hitting his shots.
Andrew Taylor, oh, look at him weave through traffic, but he missed it inside. Got his own rebound and scooped it in.
Been through a little bit of a drought. You got to try to take the ball to the hoop. His jump shot's been falling a little bit short.
17 for Andrew Taylor, and a timeout by South Laurel. Jeff Davis saw that his guy was in trouble, and he signals for the 30-second timeout. Of course, Jeff Davis, the longtime Morehead State assistant, coached under Kyle Macy for 8 years, half of that time as a student assistant, and then later as a full-time assistant. Had some good teams for a couple of years there. The Ricky Menard days, Ches Marks, Chad McKnight. Of course, they won the OVC regular season championship one year.
Tell you, Ricky Menard, as fine a ball player as Morehead State has had in quite a while, and always fun watching that young man play.
I would say number 2 in my lifetime next to Kenneth Fareed in terms of the all-time greats at Morehead State.
Yeah.
Of course, Jeff Davis then went on from there to Simon Kenton, where he was an assistant, and then took the South Laurel job here back in 2011, and a tough job succeeding Steve Wright, who, of course, guided the Cardinals to the 2005 state title. Of course, the point guard on that team, Ty Profit, who went to Notre Dame and then ended up at Morehead State and was on the team that beat Louisville. So 6 degrees of separation, high school and college basketball in Eastern Kentucky. You see the banner Coach Steve Wright is honored with here at South Laurel High School as we have a jump ball possession arrow. We'll keep it with Corbin.
Of course, we saw Glenn Profit here, Ty's father, just a few minutes before tip-off. And he said he couldn't wait for 9 o'clock to come because University of Tennessee would be in action. He'd be watching his son do some great coaching down there for the University of Tennessee. What
How about the
surprise.
job, Donnie Tyndall's doing? I'd say he's one of the front runners for SEC Coach of the Year.
I think you're exactly right, Tanner. He is the Coach of the Year in the SEC, getting some big help from the South Laurel Cardinal, Ty Profit.
Hopkins no good on the 3, and South controls the board.
Corbin playing aggressive overplay, trying to do something here. And should be some openings in the middle for a diagonal pass.
Grubb is fouled by McGuett. That's number 4 on McGuett, number 6 on Corbin. So each team has been whistled for 6 fouls here in the second half, and we'll shoot the bonus the rest of the way.
South Laurel has outscored Corbin 32-9.
Grubb trying to get it to Taylor. It's knocked away. Now in the corner, Miller, 3. Why not?
When you're hitting shots like that, that's how you outscore teams 32-9 over a given stretch. Hitting those outside shots. Miller, just a junior player with that high IQ and realizing he can hit the shot.
That was his 4th 3 of the game. McGuett, high arcer, shot altered by Taylor, and it's no good. Even when Taylor doesn't block the shot, he's able to make you change it.
This South Laurel team, an excellent team.
Miller, that time he bluffed a 3 and he traveled. We take our final media timeout. South Laurel a big lead over Corbin. Can the Cardinals hang on and get a big district win? Find out next on This TV and WYMT.com. The South Laurel Cardinal Crazies going crazy here tonight. Their team a 26-point lead over Corbin after trailing by 7 at the end of the first quarter. It has been all Cardinals after that as Taylor gets the and 1 for the Red Hounds. Good start coming out of the timeout as we hit the home stretch of this game. Lauren Cash, Jim Frazier, Tanner Hesterberg, our Appalachian Wireless game of the week tonight here in South Laurel. Let's go to the Deskins Motors instant replay of the and 1 by Taylor just now.
How about the way Andrew can elevate there, Tanner, and draw the contact, put it home, complete the 3-point play.
And he's now at the 20-point mark. And the Red Hounds nearly had a steal, but Hopper can't keep it from going out of bounds. It will stay with South Laurel. A.J. Moore back into the Corbin lineup. Sam Taylor heads to the bench.
Just can't get over what a great environment this is for the students of both these high schools at this game, Tanner. Just tremendous.
And South Laurel forced to call a timeout. Let's take a look at the series history between these two programs.
Storied history it is.
And it's been extremely competitive. Man. If you go back to 1998, Corbin leads the series 23-16. Since then, Red Hounds had a 10-game winning streak in the series. South Laurel a 7-game winning streak. Both of those back in the early to mid-2000s when both programs had good runs. And, of course, we talked about the last meeting, December 16th of last year. Corbin won it 65-60 down in Corbin. But a much different situation here tonight, having to deal with those rowdy fans.
It certainly is. I was talking with Coach Petrosky about Corbin's state tournament team, I believe 93-94 with Bo Roden. Bo Roden scores 40 in a state tournament game. I had to go see him immediately after the game. I said, Bo, I got to shake the hand of a guy who can score 40 in a state tournament game. What a player.
Grubb off the mark on the jumper, and here comes Corbin. Andrew Taylor got it again.
Game sort of got away from him a little bit in that second and third quarter, Tanner, but the young man has a great Division I future ahead. 22
points tonight, averages 20 per game. Anders back to Taylor, little give and go, can't finish, but Taylor will go to the line for 2. How about the game he's had tonight? 14 points, as you mentioned, Jim. So much of what he's done in this game will not show up in the final box score because he's just been a huge difference maker on the offensive and defensive end. Offensively, he's been able to suck the defense down and open up some shots on the perimeter for some of these South Laurel guards. And then defensively, even when he hasn't altered the shot, he's blocked the shot. Look at that kid. He's having fun tonight on the Deskins Motors instant replay. Took a little tumble. He's saying, hey, that was intentional. I'm just showing off for the camera. As Taylor,
I tell you,
this a couple of free throws.
This is the environment that gets the young kid started, though, Tanner. You saw the young kid getting invited. It's obvious the little kid that was having fun is not in high school, but he's going to be a fan throughout the rest of his life.
Offensive foul called on Andrew Taylor. You know, these are the kind of games when you get older and you look at that. That's for Lauren Cash, our sideline reporter. They made that since We Love Camera Girl, but you see that camera they had on there, that thing looks like it's 50 or 60 years old.
Yeah, it looked like one.
Not one of the state-of-the-art cameras. Yeah.
Tell you, just great involvement here.
Lauren, I think, is endeared to the South Laurel fans here as camera girl because she comes here and shoots so many highlights for Sports Overtime. Now she's in a different capacity tonight as sideline reporter, but I'm not sure sideline reporter would totally fit on the sign they had, so they're just going to go with camera girl.
There you go.
I want to know why we didn't get a sign.
Yeah, that's probably self-indicative.
Steal here by Taylor. Weaving through traffic, so good at creating his own shot. Dishes it off this time, and it's up and in by Hopper. He's now in double figures with 10, right on his season average.
You know, I think Andrew Taylor, they're using him primarily at 2 guard, but he could be a terrific point guard at the next level.
Steal by Browning, and then back tipped. It will stay with South Laurel. Good hustle by Vince Holcomb, the senior. Keep possession for the Cards, leading by 21. Assuming South Laurel goes on to win this game, the Cardinals will improve to 2-2 in the crowded standings of the 50th District, and Corbin will drop all the way to last place, drop to 4th at 1-3, each team with 2 regular season district games left. But really, the 50th District, Jim, so good and so balanced. You could just about do a draw, and it would amount to the same thing. 2 good teams are going to have to stay home for the region tournament.
Exactly so, and you're going to have a tough opening round matchup as well, no matter who's won, no matter who's number 4.
Allen headed the line here for 2.
That's the thing about great balance. Of course, let's take a look here at our Deskins Motors instant replay. Watch the share of the basketball. Get it to your big guys. That time Zach Allen gets the good feed and uses that big body to put it home. But, Tanner, you have such balance here in the 50th. It's just going to be tough opening round matchups. You're going to play basically a regional semifinal type game in your opening round.
Allen has 6 points tonight. 4 of them have come at the line. Lead back to 23 for South Laurel. Again, this was just a 4-point game at halftime, 27-23. South has absolutely exploded here in the second half. It's that one good inside for Taylor.
Young man sort of disappeared from our view as he went into the trees there. Spins, puts it in.
Anders to Allen on the baseline.
How about this ball handling and spacing here by South Laurel? They haven't turned it over much, despite pretty hard pressure by Corbin.
And a whistle away from the ball as Allen hit the floor. And the referee getting in there to have a chat with Taylor before he comes over here and signals the foul. Going back to the standings we were talking about in the 50th District.
Man, that is just a tough group of teams right there. Williamsburg.
Only undefeated team in the state.
I tell you, just a tough ball club.
Of course, a lot of those guys that played football for Williamsburg, those great athletes, also play basketball.
And that's what Tony Petrosky talked with me about that team. He just simply said it is a bunch of the same guys. They're great athletes, and they can body you. And a lot of times you think maybe the small school, the Class A school, they don't have maybe the quickness in those bodies, but Williamsburg certainly does.
Timeout on the floor gives us a chance to talk about our next broadcast in the Appalachian Wireless Game of the Week, and what a game we are looking forward to on Saturday. One of the greatest rivalries in college basketball, Morehead State hosting Eastern Kentucky, and not only will this one be on this TV and WYMT.com, but our friends on satellite can pick it up on the CW Lexington.
Tell you, Tanner, going to be a great matchup there. Morehead State, tough game with Austin Peay, I believe, tomorrow night, but they've gotten it going on the road. Eastern Kentucky, you see there, started the season 5-0. Big win over the University of Miami, but they've sort of gotten a little basketball logged here the last little bit. We'll see. They have a tough game against Murray. You know, Coach Neubauer concerned when you've got to go to Murray on a Thursday night and then come on into Moorhead on a Saturday. That's a tough back-to-backer.
Of course, Moorhead State starting to play really well as of late. This is a team that a lot of observers and Coach Sean Woods, for that matter, thought had the talent to compete for an OVC title and berth in the NCAA tournament. Started out strong, nearly beat UNLV and Cincinnati on the road. Kind of fizzled, but starting to find their footing again. And anytime Moorhead and EKU hook up, you can throw out all the record books.
Certainly can. The record only 9-13, but they've got 2 games with Eastern, 2 games with Belmont coming up, so it's all in front of Moorhead State.
Taylor the basket for Corbin, give him 26.
Don't you love the way he elevates on his shot?
McGuett the 3. He has 5.
This is how dangerous Corbin can be. They just had a tough second and third quarter, and South Laurel just put the hammer down when they had the advantage in that second and third quarter.
Foul called as the Cardinals lead down to 17, but running out of time are the Red Hounds, as you see the long faces of the Red Hound faithful that made their way up I-75 here for tonight's Titanic struggle.
But not a single one is left. They're here supporting their team, and Corbin had a 7-point lead at the end of the first quarter, Tanner, but you could see that South Laurel, with their inside game, it was just going to be almost a little bit too much here on their home court for Corbin.
16-9, the advantage for Corbin at the end of the first quarter, but South Laurel outscoring the Red Hounds 18-7 in the second and 25-8 in the third. This fourth quarter's been much more even, but Corbin has just really dug itself too big of a hole, trying to get out of it as the tip-in by Sam Taylor is good for his 4th point.
And I'm going to guess offensive glass points for Corbin would be less than 3 baskets this evening. I mean, they just haven't had the opportunity on the glass. When that happens, you've got to shoot such a high percentage. That's the way it started for them, but just tough on the road to continue a high shooting percentage.
Well, South's lead down to 15, and the students have gone to sleep across the way.
That's so
laying
funny.
Down over there taking a nap
that
for these
so
final 75 seconds as Taylor scoops it up and in inside. He now has 18 points, eclipsing his season average of 17. The other Taylor at the other end, no good on the 3, and we're under a minute to go here at South Laurel High School. Cardinals closing in on a big district win over Corbin.
Beautiful.
Miller inside off the feed from Grubb. He's had a good game.
Well, Grubb and Miller have played superbly this evening, haven't they, Tanner? You saw there, Grubb, what a difference he made in that third quarter. He ignited the Cardinals.
3 off the mark for McGuett.
I tell you what, I like the way Grubb drops back and gets rebounds. You know, that South has some big players, but Grubb can drop back in there and be an efficient rebounder. Now, there seemed to be waving at the Corbin crowd.
I'll tell you what, we've had just as much fun doing play-by-play for what the student sections from these two teams have been doing tonight than the actual players, as Grubb is at the line for a couple.
You know, during the timeouts, when we were away, the kids took charge. Real blast to be here in London this evening.
Grubb hits them both. And he'll get a nice round of applause as he heads to the South Laurel bench, and a handshake from Coach Jeff Davis. Big win here tonight for South Laurel. Corbin trying to save face a little bit. Taylor on the slash to the basket. He missed it. Rebound poked out of bounds. It will stay with Corbin. 22 seconds remaining.
Well, these Corbin kids, there's no quit in them. They battled it hard, but South Laurel just a little bit too much here on their home court with tremendous fan involvement, Tanner. This is high school basketball, Kentucky high school basketball at its best.
Hopper, the step back 3 is nothing but net. 13 quiet points for Hopper tonight.
Corbin shoots a high percentage against you. They're going to give you all kinds of problems. I'm here to tell you that because they play aggressively.
5-second violation will give it back to Corbin. 5 seconds remaining. It's going to go down as a double-digit win. Hopper, nifty little move off the inbound. Throws it off a South player and scores for his 15th point. But the Cardinals flying high tonight. South Laurel defeats Corbin by 16 points, 70-54 to get a big district win and drop the Red Hounds to last place in the 50th district standings. And the Crazies are loving it.
Oh, man. Superb student involvement.
A big game for 3 South Laurel players. Caleb Taylor leading the way with 18, Jared Grubb 17, all in the second half, and then 16 points in the game for Braden Miller.
Gotta love the sportsmanship of both of these squads as well. We saw Coach Petrosky and Coach Davis shake hands at midcourt, and they know they're going to be seeing one another again down the road.
And watch them get mobbed by the students. And Coach Jeff Davis telling them to get off the floor.
Well, you know, they've got the floor in good shape here, so, you know, they mind what he says. That's an effective teacher, you know. He got 1,000 kids coming out, and all he does is give them the high sign and tell them to go back. So.
And he'll make his way over to speak with sideline reporter Lauren Cash, who is also standing by with sophomore Jared Grubb. Lauren, take it away.
All right, Jared, all your points coming in the second half. What was the biggest difference for you, for the whole team, from first half to second half?
I think it was intensity. We picked up our intensity in the second half. Things weren't going in the first half, and we weren't getting calls, and we just had to play through it and play our game.
You all split home and home with Corbin for district tournament. How much confidence does this win give you guys moving forward the rest of the season?
It gives us a lot of confidence. We're a very confident basketball team. We just want to play to the best of our ability every game, and this is big for us.
All right, last question. What's it like playing in front of a crowd like that?
It's awesome. I've never played in a crowd like this.
Awesome. Congratulations. Thanks. Coach. All right, for Grubb, all his points coming in the second half. Really, what was the difference from the first half to the second half for you?
We were patient. I thought the best part was our defense. We really stepped up, and it's my fault at the beginning of the game. We played zone. It got us kind of lackadaisical. But, you know, they took pride in it, and we did a good job of defending them. And the key was we finished quarters, which we haven't been able to do, and we rebounded.
With as competitive as the 50th district is, probably one of the more competitive here in the 13th region, what's a win, you know, respecting your home court do for this?
It means a lot for us personally, but it don't mean nothing in the grand schemes of things, because this is going to be a dogfight for the rest of the year. And when we get in that tournament, all 4 teams are good. All 4 teams can beat each other. You got to put Williamsburg as the favorite, so we're all kind of looking up at them. But anything in this district can happen.
Thanks, Coach. Congratulations, guys.
Right, Lauren, thank you very much for your work tonight on the sidelines. And the fans have made it out onto the court now.
Hey.
They're going to savor every last minute of this 16-point victory over their arch rival here tonight. We'll send it to break and come back and wrap this one up from here at South Laurel. 70-54, the final score in our Appalachian Wireless Game of the Week on this TV and WYMT.com. I'm Tanner Hesterberg. What an atmosphere for high school basketball tonight as South Laurel defeats district rival Corbin by 16 points, 70-54. This was a close game for the first half, just a 4-point game at halftime. How was South Laurel, Jim, able to bust it open in the second half?
You know, I think Coach Davis talking about it there, as well as Jared Grubb. The defensive intensity picked up tremendously. Corbin unable to hit the shots as well as they had in that beginning of the game. No offensive glass. Great rebounding advantage here by South Laurel. And, you know, they've only got one senior, Zach Allen. This team is going to be tough. And a lot of these fans don't look like seniors either, Tanner. So I'm guessing things are going to be pretty exciting here for Coach Jeff Davis and his South Laurel Cardinals.
I think it was free caffeine night here at South Laurel. They've been hyped up all night long.
Hey, listen, they brought the football uniforms, the helmets, and this was as neat a crowd as I've seen regular season in the mountains all time. Great job by those South Laurel kids and the Corbin kids as well. They brought a huge contingent, didn't leave till the last few moments.
All right, we'll be back to wrap this one up and preview the Morehead State EKU game coming up on Saturday when we return after this. 70-54 the final score here tonight. South Laurel scores a big 16-point victory over Corbin in the 50th district. Let's look ahead to our next broadcast of the Appalachian Wireless Game of the Week. It'll come your way Saturday as we go to northeastern Kentucky. Morehead State hosting Eastern Kentucky in one of college basketball's greatest and most storied rivalries. What do you foresee in that one,
Looking forward to it. I think for Morehead State, they've got to get a good start in that one, have the home crowd fired up. Of course, it's Super Bowl weekend, and it's going to be Super Saturday for Morehead State. Eastern Kentucky, a tough game against Murray on Thursday night. How much does that take out of them when they come to Morehead on Saturday?
Now, that says 4:15 there. The actual tip-off will be closer to 4:30, and that's also when we will begin our coverage of Morehead State hosting Eastern Kentucky. And that brings the curtain down on our broadcast for tonight as the South Laurel fans who blacked it out here tonight celebrating a 16-point victory for the Cardinals, 70-54 over Corbin. We want to thank our entire production team, starting with our director, Jesse Reif, our graphics coordinator, Jonathan Turner, Greg Creech, our crew chief, our satellite truck operator, Dennis Hudson, our producer, Nathan Little, camera operators, Freddie Hunt, Matthew Lee, Anthony Sizemore, and Tracy Hensley, and our man back at WYMT Master Control, Kevin C. Hill. Our sideline reporter tonight was Lauren Cash. And for my partner and color analyst, Jim Frazier, this is Tanner Hesterberg saying thanks for watching tonight, and we'll see you Saturday for Morehead State and Eastern Kentucky. Good night.